guys, welcome to Bible Tea. This is Job chapter 7 through 9. I kind of lumped them together. 7 could have been its own thing, but it was just short, so I just kind of lumped it all together. So I'm going to start with where we left off. And we left off where the conversation was Job was talking, or no, we left off chapter 6 where, was it? Eliphaz, yes. Okay. Job was responding to Eliphaz. This is where Job finally spoke up. And Job said to Eliphaz, one should be kind to a fainting friend. Like, you should be kind to me. You have seen my calamity. Are you afraid? But why? Have I ever asked you for a gift? So, I told you his friends were trifling, okay? They're just afraid that he's going to ask for something. Anyways. So we left off with Eliphaz, blaming it all on Job, saying it's all Job's fault. And then, let's see. And then Job, at the end of chapter 6, 29, he says, stop assuming my guilt. Stop assuming that I'm guilty. Now, as we get into chapter, more like 8 and 9, you're going to hear Bildad talk to Job. And if you're not careful, once again, it's going to sound like Bildad is speaking wisdom. But he's not. He's not. And here's the thing that we've got to learn. We've got to pray for discernment, okay? I'm so guilty of this. I am such a naive person. I want to believe the best in everybody. And that's something I've got to work on. Like, I still want to believe the best in people, but I need to learn to have discernment. Because somebody could say a sentence, and every word in that sentence be truth except for one word. And that makes that whole sentence a lie. Somebody could say a sentence and not every word in that sentence sound like truth, but then they put the wrong punctuation mark on the end of it. Turns it into a lie. So, as we pay attention to what Bildad says to Job, I'm just going to say it's ignorant. He's ignorant, just like Eliphaz is ignorant. It's a hot mess. So, let's see. So this is the first 5 verses in 7 is still Job talking to Eliphaz. And he's saying, it's not all human life a struggle. Our lives are like that of a hired hand, like a worker who longs for a shade. I too have been assigned months of futility, long and weary nights of misery. Lying in bed, I think, when will it be morning? But night drags on, and I toss till dawn. My body covered with maggots and scabs. My skin breaks out with oozing pus. Okay, first of all, poor Job. I can't even imagine. It must have been like hell on earth, literally. Everybody that's supposed to be your circle is all rejecting you. And you also think that God's rejecting you. So you're probably like, Lord, just take me now. Just like, why? Why am I even here? Every good thing in your life, what you perceive as every good thing in your life has been taken from you. And Job has no comfort. He doesn't have the comfort of knowing that, hey, God is testing me. He trusts me. He has faith in me. He doesn't know that. But I still love his response and the way that he talks to God. And he's talking to God as if he's talking to a friend. But the whole time, even though he's expressing his anguish, the whole time he is showing honor to God. He is still honoring God through his grievance, through his complaint, through his words that he's using to try to express how he feels. He is still honorable to God, and that is what I love about Job. Okay, so we'll get into the part where it talks about Job cries out to God. My days fly faster than a weaver's shuttle. They end without hope. O God, remember that my life is but a breath, and I will never again feel happiness. You see me now, but I'm not for long. And then, okay, then we'll go down to verse 11. I cannot keep from speaking. I must express my anguish. So as you read from like 6 on in chapter 7, it's going to sound like Job is throwing a fit. It's going to sound like he's being dramatic, but he's not. He's not just throwing a fit, just like he wants to be heard. He wants his God that knows him and hears him to hear him, to hear his anguish. I imagine how desperate he would have been at that time. The people who are supposed to support him and to love him, those are the people that are blaming him. His wife rejects him. His friends, they blame him. The God that he loves so much, he feels has rejected him, and he thinks he has lost every good thing. I'm sorry. I would probably have replied this way at Job 1. Okay? Job is the man. Job is the man. I cannot keep from speaking. I must express my anguish. My bitter soul must complain. Am I a sea monster or a dragon that you must place me under guard? I think my bed will comfort me and sleep will ease my misery. I can't speak. But then you shatter me with dreams and terrify me with visions. And it's not God doing it. Yes, he's allowing the enemy to do it, but it's the enemy. And so Job goes on, what are people that you should make so much of us, that you should think of us so often? For you examine us every morning and you test us every moment. Why won't you leave me alone? Okay, that's a little bold, Job. That's a little bold. But I don't think he means it in the way that we say, just leave me alone. I don't think he meant it that way. Why do you make me your target? Am I a burden to you? These words are words of a man who is in anguish. He is in utter anguish. He has no hope. He has no joy. Like I said, he's literally, it's like he's living in hell. You know? And the people that are supposed to support him are just ignorant. They're just ignorant. People are ignorant. Okay. We're going to get into chapter 8. Chapter 8 is where Bildad responds to Job. If I could have words with Bildad, oh my gosh. Okay. If I'm going to be real, after I read this, I will tell you how I, honestly, being honest, would have dealt with this situation. So here's Job pouring out his heart to God, spilling out, just trying to get God to hear him, pouring out his anguish before God. And this is supposed to be just a personal thing. Like, he is speaking to God. He is pouring out his anguish. Like, God wants us to do that. If we're in pain, if we're going through things, He wants us to talk to Him. If we have to complain, He wants us to go to Him like we would go to our Father and just say, this is what's on my heart. This is what's on my mind. This is what's hurting me. Father, I need you to heal my heart. Like, He wants us to go to Him like that, you know? Yes, we treat Him with honor. But you can honorably go to God and say, God, I don't understand this. God, this is hurting me. I don't understand. Have you forgotten me? Like, you can honorably go to God and ask Him these things. But this is the reply of his trifling friend. How long will you go on like this? You sound like a blustering wind. Job, I do not know how you did it. But if my family or friend would come to me and see something like that, when I'm going through all of this, I would not recommend that my family nor my friends be in the vicinity of me if they say something that's stupid, because I'm probably going to swing. I'm not being smart. I'm being honest. Because yes, I am sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost, on fire for God. When I try to live for God my best, but there is still that little bit of gangster in there. That little bit. God's still working on her. He's still crucifying Christina BC. Christina before Christ. Okay? It's a everyday dying process. So, honestly, I would not have dealt with this as good as Job did. I probably would have, at this point, I probably would have been swinging. I'm just saying. And don't judge me for that, because nobody's perfect. Okay. How long will you go on like this? You sound like a blustering wind. Oh, Jesus. Does God twist justice? Does the Almighty twist what is right? Okay, this is where it's going to sound like he's speaking wisdom. But it's like that half-truth, you know? It's like the 9 words he speaks and then the 10th word is the lie. Where he twists. Does the Almighty twist what is right? No, He doesn't. Your children must have sinned against Him. This is what folks do when they don't have an excuse, or when they don't understand something. And they see something happening wrong, and it's like, oh, this isn't in the manual. Oh, you must have done something wrong. Okay, God is outside of our comprehension. His judgments, far outside of our comprehension. Just because we can't understand why God would do something does not mean you take a square peg and fit it in a circle. Like, no. You say, God, you are wiser than me. I don't understand why this is happening. I don't understand what... Instead of instantly going to, oh, somebody must have been doing something wrong. Oh, did you see her in church? Yeah, did you see she was sick? Oh, God must be punishing her for something. God must be punishing him for something. I don't know what they did. They probably did something. First of all, that's gossiping, which is a sin. Okay? So, you're not just getting two shoes yourself. Oh, Job brings out the extra in me. I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm going to read this to you, and it's going to sound wise. It's going to sound like good counsel. But listen, really listen close. How long will you go on like this? You sound like a blustering wind. Does God twist justice? Does the Almighty twist what is right? Your children must have sinned against Him, so their punishment was well deserved. Like I said, I do not know how Job didn't suck him in the face. Anyways. But if you pray to God and seek the favor of the Almighty, and if you are pure and live with integrity. I'm sorry. Did not Jesus just say, did not God just say that he is a man of complete integrity? This is why we cannot let people label us. This is why we cannot let, I can't even speak, Jesus. This is why other people are not the judge. This is why human beings are not the judge. Because we'd all be ended up someplace we're not supposed to be. This is why God is the perfect judge. Because he knows the heart. He knows the inward part of us. Okay? Oh, this is going to get me fired up. Anyways. Let's see. I digress. He will, okay. And if you are pure and live with integrity, he will surely rise up and restore your happy home. As though you started with little, you will end with much. I'm sorry, started with little? It says in the Bible that Job was the richest man in the land. Just ask previous generation. Pay attention to the experience of our ancestors. For we were born but yesterday and know nothing. Our days on earth are as fleeting as a shadow. But those who came before us will teach you. They will teach you the wisdom of the old. And Bildad goes on and on and on. If you would just learn, Job. If you would just be righteous, Job. If you would just have integrity, Job. Your kids died because they probably deserved it. They probably sinned. I'm sorry. But was Bildad and Eliphaz and what was the other? I think their name should be Karen. Their name should be Karen. Anyways. The same happens to all who forget God. I think. Did you not just hear the conversation that he had with God? The thing you told him to shut up? Did you not just hear the conversation, Bildad, that Job had with God? You must not have. You must not have heard it. Anyways. The same happens to all forget God. The hopes of the godless evaporate. What a friend, okay? What a friend when you're going through all of this stuff and he's like, you must not know God. Your kids must have sinned. And that's why they died. They deserved it. And you must have done something. If you would just get godly. Job, the man of complete integrity. If you would just acknowledge God, Job, the most righteous man talked about in the land. If you would just know God, Job. No, this is stupid. This is stupidity. I am mad for Job, okay? It don't do nothing for him then, but I am mad. I am mad for Job. This is stupidness. Okay. So he continues to ramble on and ramble on and ramble on all through chapter 8. Those who then he was like, but look, God will not reject a person of integrity, nor will he lend a hand to the wicked. He will once again fill your mouth with laughter and your lips with the shouts of joy. Excuse me, I gotta correct. Sophia! Get down. Right now. That fall over on you and that would hurt you bad. I'm sorry. What was I saying? Those who hate you will be clothed with shame. Are you having a premonition there, dude? Are you seeing? And then 9 comes, and it says Job's third speech, a response to Bildad. Okay, let's see. Sophia, get down. Get down. You're gonna deserve the butt whooping you got coming here in a second. Okay. So throughout chapter 9, he's basically talking up God. And he says, "So who am I that I should try to answer God or even reason with him? Even if I were right, I would have no defense. I could only plead for mercy. And even if I summoned him and he responded, I am not sure he would listen to me, for he attacks me with a storm and repeatedly wounds me without cause. He will not let me catch my breath, but fills me instead with bitter sorrows." He is expressing his grief here because he feels like God has forsaken him. And when you listen to his friends, why would he not believe that? His wife is telling him to curse God. And yet through all of this, he keeps his integrity. He does not sin against God. And then over here it says, okay. This is chapter 9, verse 32. God is not mortal like me, so I cannot argue with him or take him to trial. If only there were a mediator between us. I'm thinking, Jesus? Is that maybe a little prelude to Jesus? If only there were a mediator between us, someone who could bring us together. The mediator could make God stop beating me, and I would no longer live in terror for this punishment. I will say this. Back in the day, God meant business. Pika! You better stop it. God meant business. When he told somebody, do not touch that because it's holy, and somebody touched it, they died. You lie to God, you die. It's not because he was mean, it's because he is holy. That's why. I'm not going to get into all that. But, yeah, you did not play with God back then. No, you did not play with God. But still, throughout all of this, what Job is saying is, he has his reason. I can't take him to trial. I'm not going to sit and question him, because who am I but mortal man, and he is God, and he is right, and he is just. I'm going to understand what's going on now. I don't like what's going and what's happening to me right now. I feel forsaken, but there's got to be a reason. There's got to be a reason. There was something else that I wanted to mention. I'm just trying to find it. Oh, it's chapter 10. So, one thing that I've noticed through all of this is Job did not react like I would have reacted. He kept his cool. Yeah, he snuck in a few slick words here and there. But his attention this whole time he's going through all this stuff, His thought, his attention is still on, did my God forsake me? That's what he's focused on. He's not focused on his riches. He's not focused on his kids. I'm sure he missed them. He's focused on, did my God forsake me? I would rather die than for my God to forsake me. That's still the theme throughout, even 9 chapters in. That's still the theme on Job's heart. Did my God forsake me? And now, in the midst of all the pain, all the hurt, all the rejection, he's have to dealing with these friends that are seeing something that they don't know how to explain. You know, they're searching all their. There's gotta be a reason. Here's a reason. God is way past our understanding. Not everything fits in the way we think it would fit in, because God thinks way outside of our box. We can never understand his ways. His ways are higher than our ways. The Bible says that God's ways are foolishness to man, but man's ways are foolishness to God. Because his thinking is so far. Because here's the thing. We can see and think and perceive what is in our circumstance, what is in our box. Okay? That's all we can perceive. That's all we can think. That's okay. People living in India, that's not a reality. People living in Africa, that's not a reality. People living in Hollywood and living high on the hog, that's not people's right. That's not some people's reality, you know? So God sees past our realities and what's real to us. He sees past all space and time. And he sees what is truth. Even if we can't comprehend it or understand it, and it makes no sense to us, God is God, and he sees. He oversees everything. He oversees every timeline. He oversees every decision. Like, he knows what's going to happen 1,000,000 years from now. And 100,000 years back. Like, he sees linear. Like, we see, like, what's in front of us. You know, we see this way. God sees this way. If you get what I'm trying to say. So, like, think of it this way. 13 years ago, I was devastated because I was with this guy for 3.5 years. I loved him so much. He did not want to marry me. Okay? And I begged God, change his mind. You know, I love him. I want to be with him. Please change his mind, God. If God would have answered my prayer, how horrible would my life be right now? But he knew, he saw into the future. Oh no, I've got Rocky. He is better for you. You will not even remember this dude's last name, which I don't remember his last name. This won't even matter to you. This is nothing. So even though I hurt at that time, my heart was shattered, broken, even though I was the one that did the breaking up because God told me to. I was broken. I was shattered. I had such a huge heartache for so long because I was in love with this guy. So, even though I felt like I was going through the worst heartache in my life, and I couldn't comprehend why God would allow me to go through that. And I couldn't comprehend why God was allowing me to hurt. It's so that, you know, in 1.5 years later, I can meet the real, well, besides Jesus. Jesus is the love of my life. But besides Jesus, I can meet the love of my life. And have something more real than I've ever had before. And the relationship that I had with this guy wasn't 1/10 as fulfilling and I could be here forever talking about my relationship with Rocky. But wasn't 1/10 as fulfilling as my relationship with Rocky. So yeah, God allowed something to happen that was painful, that hurt me, that at that moment broke me. Because I built my life around this guy. Like, I built my life around this guy. My identity was tied up in this guy. But, oh, if God would not have broke that up. If he would have not allowed that thing, if he would have said, oh, this is going to hurt my daughter, so I'm not going to allow it, it would have destroyed my life in the long run. Sophia, you need to stop. I don't know what you're doing, but I hear you back there. You're into something. So sometimes God allows pain. He allows pain and hurting, and sometimes bad things happen that seem inconceivable. But eventually that is going to give birth to something beautiful that will be long lasting. So God saw this. He saw what was happening. And because of this pain and torment that Job went through, oh, we read this beautiful story of God's love. We get to read this beautiful story of what God can do through a human being. And we see that even though Satan put him through the ringer, he was beaten and bruised, but he was not destroyed. He held on to his faith. He held on to his integrity. And God blessed his pants off. Blessed him, what they say, 10 times as much. Yeah, it would hurt because it's not the same kids. You're going to miss your kids. But now Job is a story that is like etched in history. That it's a story that touches billions of people's lives and has impacts on all of us that read it. I'm very thankful for Job's story because it's really been touching my life in such a special way as I read it again this time. So, next time you wonder, why am I going through this pain? Why am I going through this? Why am I going through this hurt? It might not make any kind of sense to you now, but in the future, it'll make perfect sense. I said this before. God, why did you allow me to go through heart failure? It brought so much pain and hurt, and I went through so much, but now I'm like, oh, it's blessed me. It's blessed my life. It's taught me things. It's made me stronger. It's also made me rely on him more. I know. I hope this has blessed you guys. I'm not sure which ones I'll be clumping together or how often I'll be doing these videos, but I want the videos themselves to be more put together, to have good context and good structure, instead of me just, sharing a snippet with you guys. I really want it to be well put together so that we can get the scripture in context. So, I will be back probably sometime this week to share. I'll look at the chapters and see what's happening, and then I'll clump what I think needs to be clumped together. At least 2 chapters, as the conversations go. So, alright, I've got to go get this girl. She's crazy. Pika, come here. Come here. Get out of your bag. Come here. Come here, turd. Come here. No, come here. Come here. Oh, look how big this girl's getting. She's so big, she's not a little tiny kitten no more. But she's still into everything. Everything, all the time. My big girl. Alright, thanks for watching, you guys. God bless you.